Hi, Dawn here for Bit by Bit Bodyworks, and in this sample bit I'm going to walk you through how to get a bit more slide and glide in the fascia of the legs. When we come into a position like a lunge, a lot of people are just really tight through the quadriceps and through their calves, and so even getting into this position and then to be able to bring the toes under and start to play with getting connection through all 5 toes, and then starting to be able to get this sense of pushing down with the front leg and back with the back leg. There's no movement in the tissue. They're just so locked up through the quadriceps and the hamstrings and the calves. So I'm going to show you 2 movements to start to release that the fascia, so that we get a bit more sort of rotational quality and slide and glide through the layers of tissue in our thighs and in our calves. So on the calf, you're going to need 2 balls and a block. And what you're going to do is you're going to put one of the balls under the belly of the calf, and then the other ball on top, and then you're going to bring the block on top and squeeze the gastrocnemius between those 2 balls. So I'm just going to reposition myself so that you can see the balls here. We got 1, 2, block. There we go. Okay, and then what you're going to do with that bottom foot, so you can be up on your elbow, or you can lay yourself all the way down so you're on your side with the support underneath your head. What you're going to do with that bottom foot is you're going to dorsi and plantar flex that ankle. Okay, I'm just going to reposition again here so you can see what's happening with my lower leg. Okay, so we've got the calf squeeze, and then for that ankle, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plantar and dorsi flex the ankle. And then however much pressure I put, if I squeeze and press this leg down, then there's going to be more pressure on the balls. But what you'll feel as you plantar and dorsi flex is you'll start to feel the calf muscle contract and slide between those 2 tennis balls. And as you plantar and dorsiflex, really try to let the toes be a passenger, and that we're moving through the ankle joint. Okay? And then you'll just need the 2 balls for the piece we're going to do up on the thigh. So what you're going to do on that thigh is you're going to place the 2 balls along the outer seam of the leg. So your pants have a seam. Think about stacking the 2 balls underneath that. Stacking the legs, you're going to have more weight on those tennis balls. Okay? So you could also come where you've got that foot on the ground. And then the key here is that you're moving at the hip to bring the leg into flexion and into less flexion. And what you're doing is basically you're taking the hamstring, is pushing it around the leg bone this way, and then as I move the leg back, I start to push the quad, plow the quad around to the front of my thigh. And it's not a knee, right? It's not like I'm not focused on moving my knee. I want to move at my hip. And you might start with the balls closer down by the knee and then move them up to the hip, or you might start up closer by the hip and then move them down to the knee. Just kind of play with what position kind of helps you bring awareness of moving at the hip, and you get that sense of the quadricep and the hamstring rolling around that femur bone. Because again, all of our muscles, our ligaments, the sheath of our bones and the nerves, like when the fascia is hydrated and moving well, there'll be this slide and glide that happens. So that when we get up into our lunge, there's just a little bit more suppleness through that tissue. And then especially when we start to play with things like twisting, that we can feel that the bones can stay stacked, but there's enough suppleness that the tissue is able to move as it needs to. Okay? So play with that. Make sure you do both sides. It's always nice to come into standing and notice what you notice in standing, and then roll one side, come up to standing and notice what you notice. And if you've got any comments or any questions, I'd love to hear from you. Dawn at bitbybitbodyworks.com. And as always, please know that with awareness, change is always possible and life-changing. Namaste.